Alright.
You win.
Yo, what up, and welcome to a new and what I believe to be my final video on the Lightyear movie, and that is of course the video talking about the 12 ways the movie could have been better. Now, a lot has happened since I made that original movie review. I'm not saying that I changed my mind, but yeah, I've been doing a lot. So coming back to this was kind of a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. I was really like, man, I want to make something that is like positive and good. So yeah, putting myself in the situation where I have to watch something again that I don't like is one thing, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not saying that's a struggle, absolutely not. You know, this job is fun, and you know, but it is one of those where you're kind of like, you know, have to push yourself just through the process and just yeah, have faith that the end product will speak for itself in a good way. So yeah, but of course this is the big one, the one that I talked about or that I referenced in my movie review. And if you haven't watched my movie review, put a link to it down in the description below. But yeah, like I'm slightly nervous about this video. I'm gonna do my best to get all of my points across in a healthy, positive way, so that we can all understand the massive potential that this movie had and unfortunately didn't bank on. As you know, and as I've said 1,000 times, normally I just freestyle my intros like that, but this is not just an intro, this is the entire video basically. Yes, I will show images and GIFs and all that fun stuff, but I'm gonna be talking a lot, so, and I wrote down all my points, all the various different ways that the movie could have been better in my notes. I'm sorry if you have a migraine right now and that light just hit you in the face, so sorry about that. But yeah, I wrote them down. So, and basically, I don't need to explain the way I'm gonna do it, but if you see some cuts here and there, it's mostly because, sorry for the people with a migraine, but it's just because I had to check my notes and then, you know, go off the cuff from there. So, yeah, let me count one last time if there are actually 12, if otherwise the title of this video is dumb as fuck. Let me see. Bingo. Alright, we got all the various ways the movie could have been better, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, starting off with the first way that the movie could have been better. I think one of the biggest ways the movie could have been better would be if the old Buzz was actually an evil genius who did make that enormous ship that he had, and that he did make all the Hornets. I know that that's not what they're called in the movie, but let's be real, Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, Hornets, you know, are better anyway. But, you know, jokes aside, yeah, I think it would have been super awesome to actually see, and this Buzz's intelligence is definitely a point that's gonna appear in some of my other ways as well. Seeing that, you know, the old Buzz wanted to get revenge against Star Command after he felt betrayed by them, you know, after they were gonna bring him in and arrest him and, you know, all that fucked up stuff, that he actually wanted to prove to Star Command and, you know, prove all of them wrong by actually showing them who the true genius and badass is, and that he's basically better than Star Command, and that he was gonna prove that by creating his very own ship and his own robots to prove to Star Command that, you know, I don't need you, and in fact, I'm better than you. Look at my forces against your weak forces, basically. So yeah, I think that would have been awesome to see that, you know, in like a montage where you would also not only see him create his new identity as Zurg, but also create the ship and create the Hornets, so to speak. I'm gonna call them Hornets whether you like it or not. You know, that we would see him create that as he got older. You know, to show that it's not just a lickety-split thing, and that it did take a lot of time, but that it paid off in the end, you know, if you are rooting for the villain. So, I think it would have been awesome to actually see how smart the old Buzz Lightyear was and would become, you know? Now, the second way that I think this movie could have been better is by showing the growth of Featheringhamstan, the rookie, as you know, who had a very cool suit. I'm gonna be real, I love seeing the different colored variants of the Space Ranger suit that would show the clash. You know, the rookie had brown and so on and so forth, basically. But yeah, Featheringhamstan's journey from like the rookie to see him, you know, because there are so many time skips in the movie, and you know, we see of course Buzz's friend getting older, starting a family and getting married. Not literally like that, not chronologically like that, but you know what I mean, like getting married, starting a family, getting older, and you know, all that stuff. So I personally think it would have been awesome to actually see not just her story unfolding before our very eyes and seeing her getting older, but also Star Command and Featheringhamstan. Why would you show us the rookie if you're gonna abandon him throughout the rest of the movie? Like, he had zero impact apart from the beginning of the movie. And there was some potential there. Like, yeah, this is not our Buzz Lightyear and this is not our Star Command, but this, we have to make do, you know? Like, and I think it would have been awesome to actually see this new Space Ranger. I'm not saying he could have become Buzz Lightyear's successor, but I still believe that that was definitely a character that had a lot of potential, and they just fucking threw it to the side and were like, ah, you know, whatever. You know, like, it doesn't matter. If you only see his Space Ranger suit later on, you might as well throw his corpse in there. Like, oh my god. Like I said, what he went through was fucked up. It basically started the entire storyline. Actually seeing Featheringhamstan, you know, make the decision that he wants to make Buzz proud and be a proper Space Ranger. I think seeing his story unfold over the many time skips that we saw, seeing him go from the rookie to a regular Space Ranger to a lieutenant or captain, and possibly even the new commander, you know, I think it would have been so awesome to see that. But there was nothing. Now, number 3 is one of the biggest ways this movie could have been better, and that was, no offense to Marvel fans, but if Tim Allen was the voice of Buzz Lightyear, that would have been so easy to do, and the reason why he didn't get the part is dog shit and a sign of the times that we live in right now. And my fellow Quentin, so to speak, Tarantino, went on this podcast with Tom Segura. I'll link that podcast down in the description below. It has video as well. And the way he talks about this day and age of basically the last couple of years in the movie industry, it summarizes perfectly what I feel as well. So it's something that I share with my fellow namesake, so to speak. So yeah, I'll definitely put a link to that podcast down in the description below. It's definitely a must watch. It's super interesting. It's about how he came up in the movie industry and what he did, and also his outlook on the movie industry as of right now. And I almost 100% agree with it. Almost. But anyway, I definitely think that had Tim Allen been the voice of Buzz Lightyear, and let's be honest, he is Buzz Lightyear, that would have definitely increased the amount of people watching the movie. It could have still had the same storyline, been a massive fucking boring story that consists of a lot of already seen movies, you know, crammed together. It could have still been the same storyline with the same characters, but I'm 1000% sure that the amount of people going to see the movie would have definitely increased by like a lot. I'm not gonna give a specific number because what? No. The 4th way that this movie could have been better was if Commander Cal Burnside simply was Commander Zeb Nebula. I don't know why they made a younger looking version of Zeb Nebula and didn't name him Zeb Nebula. I think they just didn't want to connect to the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, you know, universe and storyline, but come on, man, that was a big move. You cannot say it wasn't a big move. They literally made a younger version of Zeb Nebula with the mustache, with the entire look and feel of the character, even the way Cal Burnside is so strict about the rules and all this and all that. It screams Zeb Nebula. You know, it would be very logical to believe that this is Zeb Nebula, the way he was as a commander when he was younger. But you know, to see him in his prime would have been awesome. You know, and that dynamic between a young Commander Zeb Nebula and a Tim Allen voiced Buzz Lightyear, that would have been so cool. But we didn't get that, but that's definitely the 4th way this movie would have been a whole lot better. I don't think this is a hot take. I think it's actually icing on the cake. So, yeah. The fifth way that this movie could have been better if Zurg was... Like I already said, the first reason was focusing on the canon storyline that Zurg was, you know, the old Buzz Lightyear. Or an alternate timeline variant of Buzz Lightyear that basically had the negative outcome. But the fifth way that I think this movie could have been better was if they actually made Zurg Buzz's father. Now, he didn't have to be named Zurg as in Zurg Lightyear. He could have still been the puppet master, you know, the puppeteer basically in the Zurg suit, and that he was just a regular human like Buzz. I think it would have definitely made the story hit a lot more, especially mentally and emotionally, and it might have even connected and become a bit more relatable to some people's lives. You know, to some father-son dynamics that some people might find very relatable. Anyway. But yeah, I think it would have definitely made the fights between Zurg and Buzz hit that much harder if you actually found out that Buzz was basically fighting his own father. And you know, that could have led, how do you say this? If they hadn't shown Zurg's motives, you know, like how Zurg came to be, that could have made a very easy sequel. That would, you know, you could call it Lightyear 2 or Lightyear Presents Zurg's origin story, or basically a good title for that movie, you know, which would focus on how Buzz's father's life was and see how and why he became Zurg. So yeah, that's definitely another way I think this movie could have been better if instead of being an old Buzz, it would have been Buzz's very own father. Now, number 6, obviously it's the sixth way, but you know what I mean, it's just a bit easier to say number 6. Number 6, like I stated with reason number 1, has to do with Buzz's intelligence. Now, in the movie, you know, he's Captain Lightyear, and that's great and all, but I never fully believe that Buzz is truly capable of handling a situation by himself. And this is supposed to be Buzz Lightyear, like the Buzz Lightyear that Andy fell in love with, because this is a movie that Andy watched. And I don't believe for a single second that Andy would, you know, view this as like an idol or like a cool character, because Buzz never seems truly capable of dealing with something by himself. He doesn't seem in any sort of way true to his rank. You know what I mean? Like, if he's supposed to be this captain, then I'm expecting like a... It's kind of weird to compare these two, but then I'm expecting to see someone worthy of the rank. For instance, the Star Wars character Captain Rex. When you see Captain Rex literally from Jump Street, you understand why he's a captain. And with Buzz, you don't. It's not believable that he's a captain at all. That he's the second in line to being the leader of Star Command. I don't believe it for a single second. Yes, he never became a commander because of what happened, and you know, Cal Burnside did become the new commander. But Buzz just doesn't come across as a captain, as a smart man, to the point where he needs a fucking robotic cat to help him. No offense, but if this is supposed to be the Buzz Lightyear that Andy fell in love with when he saw the movie and saw it as a you know, one of his heroes and idols, so to speak, like, actually have him, you know, be confident, be smart, and show that he is Captain Lightyear, Captain Buzz Lightyear. You know, not the motherfucker who's so dumb that he needs a robotic cat. Actually show Buzz to be so smart, like I said, which had to do with the first way this movie could have been better, that he doesn't need socks, because he doesn't need socks. You know, the Buzz Lightyear Star Command version of Buzz didn't need socks, or wouldn't need socks. The Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear wouldn't need socks, because socks is a dumb waste of space. So yeah, pun intended. So yeah, if this is supposed to be Captain Lightyear, actually make me believe he's a captain by showing how smart he is and showing that he is above all the other side characters. Like, show that there's a difference between a fucking rookie like Featheringhamstan and Captain Lightyear. Now, number 7 has to do with two of the main side characters, Space Rangers. I wouldn't say Space Rangers, but I said characters, so my tongue went no, but like having the side characters Mo and Darby be XR and Booster, and that has to do with, of course, my love for Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and you know, not just that movie but the series as well. XR and Booster would have been way more compelling characters in this movie, and again would have had a bigger impact on the audience that ended up watching the movie, because people around my age, you know, between 20 and 30 years old, some of them are starting their own family, you know, and how awesome would it have been to watch this movie with your very own family? How awesome would it have been to see the characters you grew up with in 2D animation, see them with your own family in 3D animation? I think that would have been awesome to see XR and Booster in that style. Maybe some 3D artist has actually made them. I'll look for them on ArtStation and on Google, and if I can find a good image, I'll happily show it right here. If not, I think it's only a matter of time until someone tries to make them in the Lightyear art style. Yeah, I think it would have just been that much better, because Mo and Darby are fucking pointless characters. I'm sorry, but they are. Now, number 8 is basically building upon number 7, and that is that I think it would have been awesome had Mo and Darby been replaced by XR and Booster, that by the end of the movie, when, you know, Commander Burnside is basically like, alright, choose any of the soldiers behind me, you know, like they are all well trained, blah 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 blah. That Tim Allen, yes, I'm basically using every single point that I've stated as the new canon and the new storyline. That is basically the new storyline, that by the end of the movie, when Cal Burnside is like, alright, choose any of these men and women and aliens to become the very first, you know, Team Lightyear, that instead of Mo and Darby, it would have been XR and Booster, and there would be no socks, because you know why? Waste of space. But Buzz would still say the exact same thing, like I would, you know, I'm gonna keep XR and Booster, but that Commander Burnside would actually be like, alright, that's cool and all, on one condition, and that's that you take one of my personally trained troopers and have them join your team as well, because, I don't know, it makes Commander Burnside sleep well at night, I guess, knowing that one of his very own personally trained soldiers is part of the very first proper Space Ranger teams. And Buzz would accept, and then we would see this female trooper with the helmet on, and then Commander Burnside would introduce them and say, meet Mira Nova. I think it would have been awesome, because that way we would have had the original Team Lightyear together, and that's just a bittersweet little note for myself. So yeah, I think introducing Mira Nova like that would have been awesome. And if we would follow all my points, then Commander Burnside would be Zeb Nebula. And that would be similar to how it actually happened in the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command movie, where Commander Nebula was like, Buzz, your ass is gonna have Nova as a partner whether you like it or not. It would have been very similar to each other, and I think that would have been awesome. Alright, number 9 is a very easy one, and that is if we would hear one of the songs from one of the Toy Story movies. Personally, I would say the intro song from Toy Story 2. I think it would have been awesome to actually hear one of the songs from the Toy Story movies in the Lightyear movie, thus connecting them even more. Now, number 10, diversity. Oh my god. This is this is a fun topic. Good god. Disney is all about diversity. If you want to showcase your diversity, why on God's green earth are all the Space Rangers human? Why? Like, I'm sorry, but they're Space Rangers, not Earth Rangers. So if you want to be so proud about diversity and all that garbage, then by all means showcase more Space Rangers that are aliens, which Buzz Lightyear of Star Command had. I hate to keep bringing it up as though it's so much better, but for one, it is, and number 2, it would just make the story so much better and more believable that these are Space Rangers, not Earth Rangers that went beyond the moon and just found this other planet that fucked up, you know? So yeah, if you want to be oh so diverse with it, have the Space Rangers be humans, aliens, and possibly robots. Now, number 11 is very easy. It's actually a two-parter. Part 1 is have Zurg's robot army actually be called Hornets, and number 2, have them behave like Hornets. Not mindless dumbasses, but like actual robotic fighters, like Terminators. no offense, the entire look and feel in the movie for the robots went from like terrifying, watch out, they're everywhere, you know, you better watch out, you know, to like, oh my god, are these supposed to be comic relief? Like, what the fuck? They went from like Zurg's Hornets to dumb fucking stormtrooper level of dumbass. It is unbelievable. So yeah, like I said, it's a two-parter and definitely a huge missed opportunity. Like, yeah, you showcase Buzz struggling against those robots and you know, his new squad struggling against them, but like, they didn't seem terrifying. They didn't seem life-threatening, which is exactly what Zurg Hornets are supposed to be. You know, these almost Terminator-like characters, and that's why I said it was very unfortunate to see them go from that level of like Terminator, you better watch out, and you know, we better not find your ass because we're gonna blow it up, to like Stormtrooper level of dumbass. And that's unfortunate because it just makes Zurg look like a dumbass, and he was a dumbass because he wasn't the real Zurg. Because the real Zurg would have made his Hornets a lot more terrifying. Design-wise, they're fine. They look great. But like, the way they behaved, come on. And number 12, much like number 10, kind of a... it's not necessarily a hot topic. It's basically very simple. The media. I already said in a movie review that the media played a huge role in this movie being a flop. And that all has to do with the kiss. Now, I went into great fucking detail how they could have done it a lot better, you know, in regards to how they talked about it in the marketing and then, well, in the media, about this whole gay kiss and how you know, I basically explained all of that in my movie review, so link in the description to that. There are timestamps, so you can literally just go to this very specific moment where I talk about it. The media blew this innocent, simple kiss out of proportions. It was nuts. It was fucking nuts to see that go from like, oh yeah, just a normal kiss, to like, this is so important, you have never seen. Like, they just blew it out of proportion, and it just went from this innocent kiss to almost like, you must see this and you must respect it and you have to be proud of it, and all this, and what all of that really is pressure and pushing people away. So, but again, like I said, I already went into great detail how the media ruined this movie, you know, their part in all of it, and how I also talked about how they could have made this innocent kiss be exactly that, an innocent, normal kiss. So yeah, that 12 ways, and now that I'm actually talking about these, I can actually come up with even more. But then again, you know, there's no point to it. I've said these are my main big ways the movie could have been better, and I can make a new list of smaller ways the movie could have been better, but I don't think it's worth it because I don't think Lightyear will get a sequel. If I'm wrong, that's totally fine. It only opens the door for me to make even more content on it and hopefully earn a buck or two from it. So it is a business at the end of the day. So yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully you like this video. Hopefully you agree with it. Like I said, I didn't want to come across as this negative, you know, demon about that's saying his opinion about how bad this movie is. No, I wanted this movie to be very good, to be fantastic, and because it had a lot of potential and could have been as impactful as Toy Story 2 was back in the day, but for this day and age, and it wasn't, and that hurt. And because it hurt so much on so many levels, I knew that I needed to make this video. Now there is one more Lightyear video that you're gonna get, and it's a figure review. Now, I don't know when that video is gonna come out, but it is a figure review. And I'm not saying which character or what brand or whatever it is, but there's one more Lightyear video in the pipeline for you to watch and enjoy in the future. And if you want to know which video that is, there's only one way to find out, and that's by subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, becoming part of the Qniverse. And yeah, there's a cheesy joke there that I'm not gonna make. Theo Adams already made it. Regardless, I really hope that you did like this video. If you did, definitely give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I edited it in a way that comes across good, from a good place, and that it's enjoyable. And if it was, like I said, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say about the Lightyear movie. Like I said, one more video in the pipeline in the future for you. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to say. So, I hope you had an awesome day. I wish you an awesome day. And I'll see you guys and girls in the next video. Peace.